Hi there, welcome back. This is Chris over at 3D Palace in my big creaky chair. So I apologise when it does this. Hopefully, if I can sell a few of these sets, I'll be able to afford a chair that doesn't creak, you never know. Anyway, what I'm going to be doing is starting work on connecting this bit to this bit. Okay, there to there. So what I need to do is, well, it's a couple of things actually. I'm going to have to create a piston that comes out from the top of this here to the back of this here. Okay, and to be honest, we already have a couple of parts we can use anyway. If you remember, we've got this one. So if I just drag it and its friend, actually no, I'll just drag this one to be honest, and this one, what the hell. Okay, so just do a shift and drag, do a copy. Okay, now these two shouldn't be actually, rigged to anything at the moment. So if I just drag them across, now as you see, this one's still got a lookout constraint on it, even though it's a copy. So I'm going to take the lookout constraint away. So if we go to my rotation and change that to something like a Euler XYZ, and as you can see, it's not optimal, but there you go. Move that over to there. And this hasn't got a rotation on it, so I'll just make sure these two aren't linked together, because this will give me a kind of a starting place, even if it is a little bit, you know, messed up. So I think, to be honest, I'll just keep this piece actually. Sometimes it's going to be more of a pain than it's worth to try and fix something. Okay, I'm going to bring this over to here. And then start with angle snap. Now 90 degrees, and I think this is 45 degrees, believe it or not. Nope, 60, there you go. So 60 degrees has fixed that rather nicely. Now I'm going to basically slot this onto the top of this one. Okay, let's try and get these so they line up a bit. Let me get my left hand viewport, and I'm going to turn off angle snap just to line this up properly, like so. Then I'm going to line it up again like that. And yes, this is very much a by eye kind of thing, so take your time. You will eventually get it right, as will I. Okay, next I'm going to reduce it in scale and size. At the minute it's too big. And this should be able to sit on top of this. Like a lovely hat. Okay, that works. And I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees. That way the angle is a little bit more what I need. Now if I do that, as you can see, I lose a lot of my angle. Actually, sod it, I'll leave it the way it is. Okay, I mean, I could, actually no, that'll be ideal because it's coming straight up there. Okay, so ignore everything I just said. I'm a bit of a numpty. Okay, left viewport zoom. I'm going to go into here. Bear in mind, I've been what I would call a bit poorly for a few days, so common sense is not going to come pouring out of my face. Okay. I keep hitting space because I'm used to using Unreal Engine, and of course space is a quick way to swap between rotate, move and scale. I spent quite a lot of time doing game development when I was having a break from doing robots, and it is a lot of fun incidentally, using Unreal Engine. Okay, so you can see now these two are basically going to match up there, and what I'm going to need to do now is build a piston that connects these two fellas together. Now I've got a couple of options for this, but I think really the best method's probably going to be to build it from scratch and come out from there. It's going to be a bit of a nuisance, but there you go. Now what I'm going to do is go to my upper leg, attach that piece. Then on my lower leg, I'm going to attach that piece. Okay, so now we have these bits attached. Sorry by the way if my voice is a little bit kind of growly. It's had this horrible cold for a few days now, so just trying to get over it. Right, the easiest thing to do here is going to be building our latest piston thing just about here. Okay, on top of this. So I'm just moving this handy dandy table. Grab the 2 bits I need and hide unselected. Well, I need this too. Didn't have the table selected, no. There we go, hide unselected. There. Okay, so now I can start pulling out a piston shape from this. And for this one I'm going to go to a cylinder. Select auto grid. To about that. And that should give me enough space for what I need. Convert to editable polygon. Right. There's a sandwich on my blooming keyboard. Now I'm going to move this over to here, where I need to start building it. Because the first thing I need to do is build in the bottom part that basically goes in between these. So we can get across to there. And it's only 18 sides at the minute, but I can increase that if I need to. Convert to editable poly, hit F4. There we go, got too many edges, so I'll undo that. Hang on, there we go. Now then, this is already being converted by me, so the easiest way to get rid of it is I hold down Control, just double click on these edges, and hold Control once I'm done, and backspace. All gone. If you check the verts, they're all gone. Okay. Right. I'm going to get this bit. It does take me a little while to get in the zone, for which I apologise. And just check my shapes. Okay, because I'm going to do some chamferage on these soon. Now, if I look at these again, I'm going to cut a line straight down there and there. So I'm going to go to the cut tool, there, to there, there to there, and then straight across there to there. And the reason I do it that way is because I can then do a rather nice hinge from edge on this. Okay, now extruding. So I'm going to do an extrude, and then I'm going to use my scale tool just to bring this in. And that will do for the minute until I have positioned my piece where I need it to go. Should be about in there somewhere. If you remember, I hit Control Z a few times because I was trying to just change the amount of segments in my model. So sometimes you need to just do some general kind of model witchcraft in order to get it to fit. Right, now I'm going to extrude this straight down. Now you'll notice it's too wide at the minute. That's okay. Wait for save to turn itself off, and then do a grow. I might change the intermission settings on my save soon, because I fully approve of autosave. However, it does autosave a lot, and when your model's getting quite big, it can be a little bit of a issue, especially if I'm recording. There we go. So that should be enough for that. Right, so now I'm going to bring that up to about there, and I should be able to grab here, delete, here, hinge from edge. Remember, look up the tool if you don't have hinge from edge on your 3D application. Okay, there's almost certainly a script for that. There we go, 12. Click tick. Remember, delete the inside one. Like that. And then just weld the verts together. That way you don't have a hole in your model. Okay. Now let's go up here. And while I'm building this is going to start intersecting. So I'm going to bring it over here now so it's not in the way as much. Because I need to be careful on how I do this. And obviously I've got two of these now, but one's going to be smaller than the other, so I'm just going to shift and drag, click OK, turn that over, 180 degrees, use angle snap. Okay, that'll give me a rough idea of what I'm dealing with here. Now, look at my shapes again, and I'm going to go to my bevel tool, straight up, and then straight in again, and then down. There we go. And that gives me that shape there. Now, I use my shift tool. I can copy this to an object. Pardon me. And this will come in handy because now I can move it up to there and it'll give me an idea of what my inset needs to be on this one. That much should be perfect. Now I'll take away this new item because I don't really need it, and I'll have this one instead. So now I'll extrude that straight down. And just increase the amount slightly. Okay, so that should give us plenty of room for the leg to flex and stretch. I think I'll increase the height of the other one as well. There we go. Right, sorry, I just had to quickly answer a query from my cute little son. Right then, go into here and grab these, bring these up. It'll look stronger if the piston's a bit shorter and it gives more room for flex. There we go, about that much should be enough. Okay, now I'm going to start adjusting these shapes a bit before I stick them into the right place. So, for example, modelling swift loop. One there, and then one there. Got to be careful not to grab the inside loop, just the exterior one. And then I can grab all these polygons, so I'll just quickly select this one. There we go, and then do a control select by ring, control select by polygon. Nice. Actually, I'll select this ring as well. Actually, no, I don't want to select all of them, so that's not a problem. Let's get the right angle. There we go. There we go. So that gives us that shape. And now I can extrude by local normal. That's about there. I don't want it too much, or we'll get a really weird angle on this. Now I'm going to do some swift loops here, because we're obviously keeping the style we've kind of gained so far with our other pieces. And at this point I'm just freeform modelling. I'm not really sticking to a design. I kind of know what I've got in mind, but I don't as such feel the urge to stick to a set design at the moment. I want to come up with something that's going to be nice. Okay, now I'm at the back of my model, so I'm going to start selecting my polygon. Just use the select tool to make it a bit easier. Right, so I'm going to select 7 in total here. Get all luxury. Okay, and extrude those by local normal. And then down here, where the back of this is, I'm going to select these 4, nope, these 3, do an inset, then an extrude by the nothings, tick, and now I can just flatten that. So bring that into there, like so. Okay, which just basically gives us a bit more of an interesting shape as much as anything. Now, if I go to my left viewport, we can see the pivots for these fellas ain't in the right place. I apologise for my coughing, by the way. So I'm going to affect my pivot. Just think, by buying this set, by now I might actually have a heater in here. Ooh, wouldn't that be luxury? Right, now I'm going to go to here. There we go. Okay, so that gives us those shapes there. And that's basically just going to plug straight into that once we're done. Nice big fat piston. I could put a spring on it for a shock absorber, but to be honest, I don't see the point in doing that. Okay, next, I'm going to unhide all. So I just want to go over here to my selection of things to see if there's anything over here that I fancy. This will do. It's a nice little shape. Okay, so I'm going to select that, that, these, and that. Hide unselected. Okay, and that will go in there as a kind of an adjustment bolt. So I am going to go to my object paint, pick that, select this, and I'm going to paint on selection with object in list. Okay, as we can see, it's a little bit big at the moment. And drop down the scale. There we are. Sorry about that. As I say, it's things like this that make our object really sell, you know? Even if it's just for yourself, it's important that, you know, you've got a model that you're going to be pleased with. Okay, and I think before I attach this, what I'm going to do is probably do some smooths now to make it a bit easier for later. So I'm going to just get rid of that. And in here, if you want to see what it's going to look like while we're doing it, I'm going to shift and copy that as a reference. Reason being, of course, that we can stick on top of that an open subdivision. I do enjoy using open subdiv, very useful tool. Okay, and now we can start kind of just messing around with this shape a bit. So, there's my modelling tool and swift loop. Put one there. 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 Face it, it's incredibly satisfying using subdivision tools. It really is. I enjoy it, so there's no reason why you shouldn't. Just remember that some of the loops may not be the way that you expect them to be. Also, you're going to have to dick around your model quite a bit. That's a technical term. Sometimes in order to get the right one, or just use the crease tool. And we shall be using the crease tool probably for that one there. Just got to be really careful on how I crease these sections. There we go. So that's given that the crease that it needs. Gonna have to put a crease on the inside as well. Now if I crease any more, as you can see, it's going to go up there and start adding straight edges that we don't necessarily want. So let's be very wary when you're doing this. Okay, now these bits, one there, one there. Again, you can't put one here because it won't work that way. So here, to here. Okay, and that'll straighten those out a bit. Now, for uncreasing these, our options are that we can either run an edge all the way up to the top, okay, which means that we're going to get a straight edge here. Or like I say, if we go into selection mode and select by, what's it called, edge here, then we can de-straighten it as well. So it's up to you how you want to do that. I'm going to, I don't know, I'm undecided really. The thing is, I can just go in here when it comes down to it. If you watch. I'm going to start deselecting these anyway. It's not considered great practice, but if I get rid of these edges a bit, by a bit I mean completely, you'll notice our edge over there starts to round out again, but we do get artifacts down here where we don't really have a proper corner. So use sparingly, if you know what I mean. Another option to do is if I just undo this, so I'll just undo these bits. Another option is that you can literally detach this entire part and do it that way. Or, like I said, we can use the crease tool. Just deselect that. There we go. So the crease tool, if I just double select that and backspace, if I just select these ones here, just to make sure I select only the right pieces, otherwise it's pointless doing this. Okay, so I've got these ones selected, and if you look over there at that one, I'll now increase the crease like so, and you can see that our model's crease increases. Increase. Just run it down there, like that. Okay, so that's a good way, obviously, of getting your model to kind of crease the way you want it to. Although you'll probably have to add like 2 subdivisions in there to make it work. Okay. Now, if you're going to do it that way, obviously do it that way. Otherwise, just go back and go whole wild. Let's see. Now, I am going to do it the lazy man's way. And I probably need to put some more edges into this as well. So, one in there. And then an easy way to add one in here is just to do an inset. A very small amount, and click tick. You can do that as well for the side ones if you want. Just to demonstrate. And then at the bottom. So as you see, that's another way of getting your inset in place. Anyway, I'm waffling a bit about this. I want to get back to what I was doing. So, adding creases to our cylinder. Coming down here. And swift loop. And here. notice I can't loop there, but I can loop here and here. I'll kind of preserve that edge. Now go over here. And here. All I'm going to do, rather than dicking around with this shape, is just repair the shape when I'm done, and then I can still have my smooth edges. If I can ever get this in the right position. Bear in mind I do have a cold, so that's my excuse. There we go. Much better. Okay, now I'm going to add some straight edges here. And here. And here. Okay, let's have a look and see how that's looking. Oh, it's looking okay, although there's a bit of a bow coming in there, so let's fix that. Put one straight across there. Much better. Now up here we have some rather exciting edges that I'd like to fix, so one there, one there. As you see, that straightens that edge down there as well. Okay, so starting to get some over that. Thank goodness. Now for these shapes coming around the top of this, we can actually add a bit more extra interest to our model anyway, which will be kind of fun, so I love that term, extra interest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, actually no, I'm not going to, because it'll just make our model massively overcomplicated. I'm going to just check this out by hitting F4, look at my models. Yeah, that's looking fine. Bottom's okay. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so if I now slam an open subdiv on this one instead and delete that one, turn off ISO line so I can see what I'm doing, and right click, convert to editable polygon. Now I can go up here and select by polygon, hit grow, and let's get rid of all the bits that are in the way of this one, and attach this one, and then do some bridging. Been raining now for days, the weather's crap. Sick of crap weather. We had like one day of summer in April. That was about it. So, England, crap weather. Okay, so our adjustment bolt's now in place. So what we can do next is take perhaps some of these. Now these are static hoses, as we know. So I'm going to make some that aren't, well, that are static but won't look it. Pardon me. So what I need to do here is start with a cylinder, use auto grid, going to hit F4, find a suitable place, which will be basically where this is. See that? Now I can adjust the height and the height segments, convert to editable polygon and zoom. Okay, now what I'm going to do with this is just embed it into my object. Go to editable poly, start messing around with the shape a bit until I get something that I want. And then I'm going to use mesh smooth or open subdiv or whatever just to make it look nicer. So bring that down into there. Okay, and we probably won't even see the middle of that, so I'm going to just delete it off for the moment. Okay, and I just want to get the rear polygon and hit delete because I don't want that either. In my open subdivision, you'll see that smooths that out like crazy. So I'll just click show end result. Do some swifting loops. So one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. There we go. So that gives us a nice shape. I don't really need to name this piece, so that's cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple of copies of it. One there, and then one across from it, just there. No, no, no. No. Just pressing the wrong button again, you see. Getting my top viewport and zoom. Right then. So from the top viewport I can now take my pivot so it's literally centered over that bit there. Makes it so much easier for me when I do it this way, you see. And that bit there. And without angle snap on, because it's quite hard to get the angle right otherwise. Tee. There we go. I don't know why I said tee there. Such a blunt. It's the kind of thing people out of comic books say, isn't it? Tee. Right. Okay, lovely. And these three little fellas here are going to connect down to some down at the bottom here, I think. So I'm going to bring this one in first, and then put this one maybe about there and there. There we go, and zoom out again. Okay, lovely shape to get from these, isn't it? And I think I'm going to take this one, because if you remember I was a bit concerned about the parts over here, and I'm going to use angle snap, turn it round to 90 degrees. Until it starts to intersect in there. Okay, and just for a rear piston, it kind of, well, you're not overdoing it. No, because the leg itself, the front leg, is quite simple. So we're going to draw people's attention by making them look at the rear piston instead. If that sounds a bit strange, it isn't, honestly. Shift, drag, rotate. And back in, there we go. And the good thing is that once we've built these little connections, we don't really need to dick with them. You know, they're done. Okay, so those ones on the side aren't doing it for me. Let's get rid of those because they've broken the shape of our model too much. Now it looks like a coffee percolator, and I don't want it to look like a coffee percolator. Okay, now I'm going to go into my leftmost view and zoom, and I'm going to get a box, draw it out from here, just give it a negative height. Okay, drop it in perspective and just check it. Yep, that's correct. Okay, because what I need to do now is just bring that into there and start drawing out some pipe shapes. So, first one is going to be line, using auto grid from there. Think of it like when you were doing a bevel and you're trying to curve the top. Okay, it's just a gentle shape you start with here. Okay, now over here I'm going to grab these and that, and right click, just make them smooth. You can also make them a bezier if you prefer. If you need to delete one, just hit delete. Just be aware that it will kind of scream with the rest of yours until you fix them. There we go. Get our shape here. So I'm going to want it basically to act a bit like it's hanging. Okay, that goes in there. Remember, we've done this before, so you shouldn't find it too hard. Just mess around with the shape until you're comfortable with what looks like a cable kind of hanging down a bit. There. Maybe bring these down a bit more here. Okay, because you obviously have the weight of the cable pulling it down a bit. It's a bit too curved at the top still. There, that's better. See, so that's the kind of shape that we want. Right, now I can get rid of this piece here, because I'm not going to need it. Instead go here, and under rendering, I'm going to hit enable renderer and viewport. Hit perspective and zoom, just so I can gauge the thickness of this properly. And pump up sides to about 18. And then I'm going to start just slowly increasing my thickness until it's about right. That'll do. Now I'm going to hit F4. Autosave's going to do its thing by lots of things. I'm going to hit F4, see how many segments this is. That seems about right. Now, rather than collapsing my line, because I'd like the idea of being able to, you know, do other stuff with it, I'm going to stick an edit poly on top of this, like so. And I'm going to go into edge mode and just select this edge. We've done it before, you know what to do. Click ring, click loop, and then I'm going to deselect at the top and deselect at the bottom. And you see it's just as well we've done it this way, because I'm going to be able to move that in a minute, because I can see there's a couple of problems that I'm going to need to address. Okay, now first things first, let's do extrude, and I'm going to do it through settings. So just the width and just the height. And be careful when you're doing it. Okay, now in there I'm going to do a chamfer, and just be careful, you don't want too much of a chamfer, just a little one. And click OK. And then if I do a ring again and deselect at the top, that way we don't have the ones that are actually inside the socket and the bottom. So I've just got control, remember, selected. We can now go in here, click chamfer again, but get ourselves a really, really tiny amount. Something like that or less, maybe 0.012 in my case. Okay, it's just something minuscule. Okay, tick. Reason being, then we can stick smooth on if we want to. Let's have a oh, go away you. It's the wrong button. Okay, so it gives us this nice kind of appearance here. Okay, let's just open 3ds Max Help. Oh, interesting. Okay, so now if I pin this and go back down to my line, show end result, I'm just working on my line now. I can start moving it. Okay, so that's ideal. Top viewport zoom now, and I'm going to make a copy of it. I'm pretty sure you know why. Oh, silly dog. Right, put that there, and then make another copy. On. Oh, I just instanced it. I didn't want to instance. So it referenced it. I want to copy it. Okay, and just angle that around. Okay. And again, I can just drop down into my line. Just do any changes I need to in here. So obviously that's a little bit big. So let's just find where I put it. It's up here. There we go. Line mode. grab these, start bringing them in. And then just check that we haven't made any hideous errors that need to be repaired. There's one there that isn't particularly jolly looking. We can add all sorts of interesting twists to our model. So I might just twist that in just a little bit like that. Maybe get this one. Where it comes through like that. And then for this one's not even in the right place if you look, so we can just plug it in. Same with this one. And this one. Okay, and now if we go back to the edit poly on it, it's nearly in the right place. The top isn't quite there. So I'll just go in there like that. There. Much better. Maybe just bring this up a teeny bit just to fix that angle. Okay, so that's 2 cables in now. Then top viewport and zoom. Make another copy. Goes there. And just the same as before now. To just ensure the bottom one goes in properly. And then just do any fixes that we need just to make it look non-uniform, okay? Because these pipes basically are equivalent of working on the organic parts of the model. Okay, we know there aren't any organic parts of the model really, but this gives us the impression that there are some soft edges in here that we're working on. Now this one. Okay, that's good. And back up to there. Now what we can do is just grab all 3 of them and just convert them to editable polygons. Quickly isolate them. Then I can go in and just delete the end polygons that we don't need. So I'll delete that one. And funny, you always get these funny little 2 polygons here. You convert these to an editable poly. I'll just get the ones at the top as well, if there are any. No, there's none this time on there. Yeah, it's weird. If I kind of select this, we get these extraneous little polygons sometimes appear. See them there. Okay, which means there'll probably be another 2 at the bottom of this one. You didn't think making a piston would take quite this long, did you? But it's a detailed model, so what do you expect? I told you the legs are a difficult part, especially when you're making this much detail. Okay, now I'm going to attach these 3 together for the moment. And then I'm going to stick a single level of open subdivision on them. Pair of 4, much nicer. Right click, convert to. If you're worried about your poly counts, and at this point you might worry about your poly counts, then don't necessarily have to do that. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Looking nice. Rear pistons all in place there. And those straight edges for some reason seem to be working okay. Now this one. I'm just going to make a quick copy of this. Just as a reference, so I can work on it. This one doesn't require anywhere near as much work, thankfully. So I'll just put one in there. Just to straighten out the end point. And then here. Autosave is about to do its business. Okay, and just have a look at this shape at the top here. There we go, 1, 2, 3. I don't really want to straighten out that edge there if I can help it, so I might just keep it as it is. Let's have a look. How soft is that shape? It depends whether I think anyone's actually going to notice how soft that shape is. I might come back and repair it later if I have to. Okay, so going to there. So you can open subdivision on it. And collapse. There we go. Zoom out. So that gives us these points. Now, needless to say, we obviously need to start doing stuff here. So I am going to grab a pair of helper dummies. One there. One there. I may not use both of them, but I'm going to grab them anyway. And I like how they're floating off out of space there. I'm going to align that one to there. A little bit large, that fellow, isn't it? Bring it down a bit. I'm going to align that fella to this one. So I'm going to align that fella to this one. Yeah. Bloody thing. Okay, and scale that one down as well. Remember, uniform scales, not non-uniform scales. Big difference, very important. Don't get them mixed up. Right, now, with these ones, I'm going to have this linked to this, this linked to that. Pardon me. And this is going to be attaching these. Oh, and these. There we are. Right, now I am going to go over here, rotation, make a lookout controller. And my lookout target, and it'll be this. And of course I've got to make sure that the axis is correct. There we go. Now I'm going to change this one to look at probably this. So rotation, lookout constraint, and lookout target. This one here. Again, attach it to the Z-axis. Now, we should be in business. And we are, so that's good news. So, now if I go to my left viewport and zoom, I can start attaching these in. Don't worry about the fact that the piston's going to break. We'll fix that shortly. Yeah, I'm going to have to make that one a bit longer. So I'm going to go here and just grab these and do that. Put that there. And that there like that. Okay, perspective zoom, hit F4. Now, just to make sure that these obviously move with the right pieces, select and link that to there, select and link this to here, and unhide all. And now you can see that our rear piston is connected to the leg properly, as it should be. The good thing about that is it means that if I rotate this now, I should be able to rotate it from the knee. It's been a few days since I've used this rig, so bear with me. There it is. Yeah, you can see now the piston's moving the way that it should, which is excellent news. Right, so that's 50 minutes well spent, I think, by any stretch of the imagination. So, I shall see you in the next part, and until then, hugs, kisses, and teeny little chocolate hugs. Bye-bye for now. Ta-ta.